so all of these things came together that I started to realize that there was, and my pattern recognition, which is one of my things I'm pretty good at, is like recognizing certain patterns in movement and people. And I started to realize that the players were much more likely to get injured when they were stressed or when there was something emotional going on in their life. So I did this very solid assessment, mainly based on posturology, where I'd be looking at the eyes, the TMJ, the teeth, scars on the body, the skin, all of these proprioceptive inputs. And when there's a faulty input, let's say you have a pre-bite on one side, it can tilt the body. If you have one eye that's the lateral rectus is tight, then you're going to move your head to get the dominant eye close to the center line. All of these things was part of my assessment. So on that day, when I was assessing the first team, the medical team came in to watch, and I had two really, I paid for them myself, really high-tech weights for measuring the weight. And there were two, so one leg on one leg on the other. And the story, which is in my book, is this world-class, best in the world at the time, walks in, stands on the weight scales, and is kind of oblivious to what I'm trying to do. And then that's what I want. And so I have a quick look down at the weight shift, which should be, and I learned that from Paul in San Diego on check 3. This, and the I couldn't test the sort of how much rotational movement there was of the person standing still, but weight shift was important. And so I looked down, he was 8 kilos heavier on one leg. And that's enormous, as you can and so I turned and I said, "You see that?" And the chiropractor said, "Oh, it's probably the atlas." The podiatrist said, "It's the short leg." And then the doctor said, "Where do I stick my needle in him?" Which is my crappy joke in the book, but it's true. It's like standing there with a needle or anti-inflammatories. And I went to start my assessment because I knew it could be multiple factors feeding into this body that seems out of balance, but is probably positioned in the optimal position at that moment for whatever he had going on. And I was just about to start my physical assessment, and this thought came up. It's like, you gotta say it. You gotta say what you're thinking. Like, where is there an emotional input here? And it was my coming out of the closet moment, because I was I was ashamed of my beliefs and my thoughts around the emotional stuff, because the medical team were very dismissive of anything that I said. So I said to the player, "What's the best sex you've ever had?" Because he was that's the kind of thing you say in a football club. And he said, and he thought about it for 30 minutes, and we were all twiddling our thumbs. That's my other joke in the book. So I've gone through all the jokes in the book. So what I noticed was his eyes, it was like he was going through folders. When you look at someone really closely, when they're thinking, they're going tick, 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 going through memories. And then he said, "Oh, this is God." I wasn't listening, but I looked to the weight and he balanced out to 0. So at that moment, I realized with all of my skills, physical interventions, all my eye exercises and jaw exercises and stuff, I could never have got an instant resolution or complete restructure. So then I threw out the opposite. So what's the worst moment? What's the worst day of your life? And I can clearly remember I felt an energy shift inside of him, like a collapse. And instantly he remembers, and I look down, he's 9 kilos heavier on one leg. And that just blew my paradigm of what I was doing. And I walked home that night. Well, first of all, I turned to everyone and went, "Did you fucking see that?" And everyone's eyes just went, cognitive dissonance. They were like, "No, don't show me that information, because my whole career is gone." And so I realized that there was something there that happened, that I was able to instantly resolve something with words there's something that happened, and one thing strengthened him and one thing weakened him. So I walked home that evening going, what the fuck happened? I have to find out what that was. And that was that was the dam broke. And not long after that, I was like, I can't stay with the medical team any longer. And I left a job where I was probably the highest paid in my position. I had a fantastic job. We were winning everything. And I left badly. I didn't know how to leave. I said, I can't work with the medical team any longer. Jose and Rui said, just come and work for us. But I couldn't, it wasn't congruent. And I said, I can't. And then he said, fuck off. No one leaves Jose. And so and I never got a chance to say goodbye to anyone. So it was a very difficult experience for me. But it was the start of this journey to find out that 1 and 0, that code of strong and weak, and if I could access it and resolve people's things instantly.